The tabling of Budget 2021 has been delayed from October 2nd to November 6th, according to Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Muhammad Arif Muhammad Yusof. Also postponed is the tabling of the 12th Malaysia Plan from August 6 initially to a new date, which will be announced soon. Muhammad Arif says he received a letter signed by PM Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin to revise the schedules of the second and third meetings of the Dewan Rakyat. In a statement, the Speaker said that the decision was made after taking into consideration the COVID-19 outbreak, which has impacted the country's economy, and to allow the government to assess the situation further by engaging with all stakeholders. RMK-12 will be tabled during the second meeting, third term of the 14th Parliament, which is scheduled to run for 25 days from July 13 to August 27. The third meeting has been rescheduled to run for 27 days from November 2nd to December 15th. It was a rocky day for the FBM-KLCI following an overnight rout in the US market, where the Dow Jones saw a 1,861-point collapse on renewed COVID-19 fears. After spending the day in negative territory, the FBM-KLCI pared some of its losses to close 0.73% or 11.23 points down to settle at 1,546.02. This performance was in line with other global equities that shuddered as negative sentiment spilled over from the US as coronavirus cases topped 2 million and the Federal Reserve remained wary in its outlook. Inter-Pacific Securities Head of Research Victor Wan says the market has been overbought and needs to take a breather, driven as it was by liquidity rather than fundamentals. In total, 8.03 billion shares worth 4.77 billion ringgit were transacted, with losers leading gainers by 803 to 283, with 343 counters remaining unchanged. However, the Dow Jones saw its futures bounce 600 points on Friday morning stateside, a pattern that tends to occur following a steep crash. Goldman Sachs is trying to get federal prosecutors to ease up on the bank for its role in the 1MDB scandal, according to the New York Times. In a June 11 report, NYT's Matthew Goldstein wrote that lawyers for the Wall Street Bank have asked Deputy AG Jeffrey Rosen to review demands by some federal prosecutors that Goldman pay more than $2 billion in fines and plead guilty to a felony charge. The bank is asking for a lower fine and to avoid a guilty plea, according to people speaking on condition of anonymity. NYT said the request is not unusual for a high-profile corporate investigation and often comes in the final stage of settlement talks. However, it has always been a point of pride for Goldman that it has never had to admit guilt in a federal investigation. The negotiations have been delayed thanks to the COVID-19 crisis, but a resolution is now expected by early September. Savills Malaysia says to expect delays for new retail mall projects as the government-imposed movement control order brought many construction projects to a standstill. According to its Kuala Lumpur retail report for the first half of 2020, notable retail malls in the pipeline include the KL East Mall, Setia City Mall Phase 2, the Exchange TRX, Pavilion Damansara Heights and Mitsui Shopping Park Lalaport, among others. The report states that the next 2 years will see an additional 13.5 million square feet of net lettable retail space in Greater KL, with the bulk of it expected to be completed in 2021. Meanwhile, occupancy and rents have yet to see signs of adjustments, with average occupancy in Greater KL declining slightly by 0.9% to 87.2% in the first quarter. The report also noted that suburban malls with high-rise residential dwelling are recovering faster than city centre malls, as most offices in the city are operating at reduced capacity as more work from home. Although Savills does not foresee massive business closures to happen to the established malls, it said some retail brands may encounter closures as part of their business rationalisation. Berjaya Yeoman Resorts Management announced that the over 50-year-old resort will cease operations from June 15th. Like many others, the resort saw its business severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and will now make way for what management called a much-needed redevelopment to revitalise the resort. Management said that a retrenchment exercise will be carried out where all affected employees will be fairly compensated to the tune of over 8 million ringgit. Management left the door open for former employees to possibly rejoin the organisation, once the redevelopment is complete. The resort forms part of the portfolio held by Berjaya Land and has been loss-making in recent times. In Malaysia, Biland also has resorts in Langkawi, Redang Island, Bukit Tinggi, as well as hotels in part of Asia and Europe. In total, the group owns and operates 13 hotels and resorts.